Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world where constant connection has become not just the norm but the expectation. We are bombarded with messages, notifications, and opinions every waking moment. Yet, in this cacophony, there is a profound truth that many overlook: the transformative power of being alone. When you enjoy being alone, it doesn't mean you're antisocial or disconnected. No, it means you've discovered something most people are too afraid to confront: the strength found within solitude. Being alone isn't a weakness, it's a strength. It's the ability to face yourself without distraction, to stand in the stillness and hear the whispers of your own mind. Solitude offers something society often denies us: time to reflect. When you're alone, you can strip away the noise and ask yourself the hard questions: who am I? What do I value? Where am I going? These moments of reflection aren't just important, they are necessary for real growth. Think about it. When was the last time you allowed silence to wrap around you like a warm blanket? In a world so noisy, silence is a gift, a rare gem that so many fail to recognize. In that quiet, you can find clarity, focus, and peace that no social gathering or scrolling session can ever provide. But it's more than just peace. Being alone teaches you self-reliance. It builds confidence, not in the approval of others, but in your own ability to navigate life. When you stand alone, you learn that you are enough. That realization is a cornerstone of independence and true freedom. And let's not forget creativity. Many of history's greatest minds, thinkers, inventors, and artists found their brilliance in moments of solitude. Solitude allows your mind to wander, to innovate, to dream without interruption. It is often in the absence of others that your truest and most authentic ideas are born. Yet, I'll admit, being alone can be uncomfortable. There's no one to distract you from your fears, no one to share the load of your insecurities. But that discomfort is where growth happens. When you sit with yourself and face what you've been running from, you emerge stronger. You learn that the monsters in your mind are often smaller than they seem. Use that time to reconnect not just with yourself, but with the world around you. Walk in the woods. Sit by a lake. Watch the sunrise. Nature, in its solitude, has lessons to teach us if we're willing to listen. And finally, when you enjoy being alone, you break free from the chains of external validation. You stop living for likes, for applause, for someone else's approval. Instead, you start living for something far greater: yourself. So I urge you to embrace being alone, not as an escape, but as a journey toward understanding who you are, what you value, and what you're capable of. Because when you enjoy being alone, you unlock a strength that no one can take from you. In a world that constantly celebrates extroversion and social connectivity, solitude is often misunderstood. Many people equate being alone with loneliness, as if the two are inseparable. But solitude is not loneliness, it's a choice, a deliberate act of stepping back from the crowd to find strength within yourself. It's about embracing the quiet moments where the only voice you hear is your own. When you can enjoy being alone, it signifies a profound shift in perspective. You are no longer dependent on the presence of others to feel complete or validated. Instead, you find fulfillment in your own company, and that is a remarkable form of strength. Solitude is not a retreat from the world, but a space where you can regroup and realign. It allows you to confront your own thoughts, free from the external noise that so often drowns out your inner voice. In these moments, you're not running from something, you're moving toward a deeper understanding of yourself. It's an opportunity to embrace your individuality without the need for outside affirmation. The strength of solitude lies in this: it doesn't ask for permission, nor does it require an audience. It's a quiet, steady force that anchors you, even when everything else feels uncertain. When you can stand alone and be at peace with it, you possess a kind of resilience that is rare. This isn't about rejecting relationships or isolating yourself permanently. It's about developing the capacity to stand independently, to face challenges without always leaning on others for support. It's about realizing that, while human connection is vital, your worth isn't defined by the number of people in your life. To be alone and still feel whole, that's a profound strength, one that carries you through life's inevitable ebbs and flows. The ability to enjoy solitude also demonstrates a level of emotional maturity. It requires you to be comfortable in your own skin, to trust your own thoughts, and to embrace your flaws without judgment. Many people avoid being alone because it forces them to confront parts of themselves they'd rather ignore. But true strength lies in the willingness to face those parts head-on. Solitude gives you the courage to look inward, to acknowledge your fears and insecurities, and to work through them without relying on distractions or external validation. It's not an escape from reality, it's a step toward authenticity. When you enjoy being alone, you free yourself from the constant need for approval. You stop seeking validation in others' opinions and instead turn inward to find your own truth. This doesn't mean you stop valuing relationships or the input of those around you. It simply means that your sense of self is no longer tied to how others perceive you. That freedom from the need to be liked or understood is one of the greatest strengths a person can possess. It allows you to live authentically, to make choices that align with your values, and to walk a path that is uniquely your own. Solitude offers a rare and precious opportunity for self-reflection, a practice that is becoming increasingly difficult in a world that is filled with distractions and constant external stimuli. In our modern lives, we are conditioned to look outside ourselves for answers, validation, and meaning. The noise of social media, the expectations of others, and the hustle of everyday life often drown out the stillness within. However, when we intentionally embrace solitude, we open the door to deep self-reflection, an invaluable process for growth and understanding. Being alone creates the space needed to listen to our own thoughts, free from the influence of others. It's in these moments of stillness that we begin to hear the subtle whispers of our inner selves. Without the pressure to conform or meet the expectations of society, we have the freedom to question the things that matter most to us. What do we truly value? What drives us? Where do we want to go in life? These questions require an environment where we can be present with our own minds, and solitude provides the perfect backdrop for this kind of introspection. Self-reflection, when nurtured through time spent alone, enables us to assess our lives with honesty and clarity. It allows us to examine our choices, actions, and emotions from a place of objectivity. Often we get so caught up in the fast pace of our daily lives that we neglect to evaluate whether we are truly living in alignment with our values and goals. Solitude forces us to slow down, to take a step back, and to examine our lives with a more discerning eye. It helps us identify patterns in our behavior, recognize areas for improvement, and acknowledge our achievements. In solitude, we are also able to confront the parts of ourselves we may otherwise ignore. These parts are often hidden beneath layers of distraction, fears, or insecurities, but when we are alone, they surface. It's in these moments that we have the opportunity to face our vulnerabilities head-on. Rather than running from our shortcomings, solitude gives us the space to accept them, learn from them, and move forward with greater awareness. This level of self-awareness is crucial for personal development, as it allows us to make more informed decisions and take more intentional actions. Moreover, solitude helps us gain clarity about the direction of our lives. In the absence of external influences, we can reconnect with our authentic selves and realign our goals with our true desires. It's easy to lose sight of what we really want when we are constantly surrounded by the opinions of others or the noise of the world. But in solitude, we find our inner compass and we are able to chart a course that is true to who we are, rather than what others expect from us. Through self-reflection, solitude provides us with the opportunity to integrate all aspects of our being, our strengths, weaknesses, dreams, and fears into a cohesive whole. It helps us understand ourselves better so we can move forward with greater purpose and intention. When we enjoy being alone, we embrace this process of reflection as a powerful tool for growth, one that allows us to become more connected to who we are and where we are headed. The insights gained in solitude are not just fleeting thoughts, they are deep realizations that shape our path and guide us in ways we may not yet fully understand. In the hustle and bustle of modern life, we are often overwhelmed by a constant stream of sounds, voices, music, traffic, notifications, and the hum of everyday activity. Our days are filled with noise, and this bombardment of stimuli has become so normalized that we rarely stop to question its effect on our minds and our well-being. However, amidst this cacophony, there is something rare and valuable: silence. Silence is not just the absence of sound, it is the presence of peace, a space for clarity and introspection. When we can embrace the stillness and find comfort in being alone, we open ourselves up to a different kind of experience, one that allows us to think deeply, recharge, and reconnect with ourselves. The noise that surrounds us constantly has a way of crowding out our inner thoughts and making it difficult to focus on what truly matters. Our minds become cluttered with information, distractions, and external expectations. We may find ourselves reacting to the world rather than reflecting on it. It becomes harder to distinguish our true desires and values from the opinions and influences of others. In this context, silence becomes a rare gift, a moment where we can finally hear our own thoughts clearly without the interference of the external world. In solitude, Away from the noise and the rush of daily life, we are given the opportunity to pause and reflect. Silence allows us to slow down, to step away from the constant demands of the outside world, and to reconnect with our own inner voice. It is in these moments of quiet that we can process our emotions, work through our thoughts, and find the mental clarity that is so often elusive. Without the external noise pulling at us, we are free to focus on what is truly important, whether that's our goals, our relationships, or our own sense of purpose. Silence is where we can hear our intuition and connect with our deeper wisdom. Furthermore, silence offers a kind of mental respite that is often hard to come by in today's fast-paced world. In the stillness, we can allow our minds to rest, to recover from the constant stimulation and the fatigue that comes from being perpetually on. Our brains are wired to process information continuously, and when we're surrounded by noise, this processing never truly stops. But when we find moments of silence, we give ourselves permission to stop the mental chatter. This pause can be incredibly restorative, providing the space necessary for us to refocus and regain energy for the challenges ahead. In addition to the internal peace that silence brings, it also enables us to observe the world around us with greater depth. In the absence of constant noise, we become more attuned to our surroundings. We can listen to the subtle sounds of nature, the rustling of leaves, the flow of a stream, the call of a bird, and experience them in their full richness. These simple moments of connection with the natural world can be deeply grounding, helping us to feel more present and connected to the larger rhythms of life. Silence also serves as a reminder of the power of presence. In our noisy, always connected world, we often find ourselves distracted, thinking about the past or worrying about the future. Silence brings us into the present moment, encouraging us to be fully engaged with what is happening right now. It allows us to tune into our bodies, our emotions, and the subtle cues that might otherwise go unnoticed. In this state of presence, we are more open to the fullness of our experiences, more aware of the richness that exists in the here and now. Ultimately, silence is not something to be feared or avoided. It is a powerful tool for self-discovery and well-being. It provides the space we need to reconnect with ourselves, to reflect, to recharge, and to find peace amidst the chaos. By embracing silence, we reclaim our ability to think clearly, to process our emotions, and to engage with the world around us in a more meaningful way. When you embrace solitude, you begin to develop a form of self-reliance that is crucial in navigating the complexities of life. In a world that often encourages dependence on others for emotional support, validation, or direction, the ability to stand on your own 2 feet and make decisions without constant external input is both a valuable skill and a powerful source of inner strength. Self-reliance doesn't mean rejecting relationships or isolating yourself from the world. Rather, it's about cultivating an internal sense of confidence and trust in your own judgment. Solitude is the perfect environment in which to build and nurture this self-reliance. When you are alone, you are forced to rely on yourself to meet your emotional, intellectual, and even physical needs. In these moments, there are no distractions, no other people to turn to for advice or validation. You are left with nothing but your thoughts and the decisions you must make for yourself. This forces you to develop a deeper understanding of your own desires, boundaries, and strengths. Over time, as you navigate life's challenges on your own, you start to see the capacity you have to overcome adversity and solve problems without needing the reassurance or guidance of others. This process of self-reliance is not immediate. It requires time, reflection, and effort. When you are constantly surrounded by others, it is easy to fall into the trap of relying on their opinions or actions to shape your own. However, in solitude, you are free from these external influences. It is here that you discover your own voice, your own sense of direction. You realize that you don't need to look outside yourself for answers because the wisdom and strength you need are already within you. This realization builds confidence in your ability to handle whatever life throws your way, regardless of whether or not you have someone to lean on. Solitude also allows you to strengthen your emotional resilience. When you are alone, you are forced to face the full range of your emotions without the comfort of others to distract or pacify you. This may seem daunting at first, but it is precisely through this process that emotional independence grows. You learn how to manage your own feelings, whether they are sadness, frustration, or joy, without depending on someone else to tell you how to feel or how to act. In doing so, you become more self-sufficient in your emotional life, less likely to seek out others for validation or approval. You start to trust yourself to process your emotions in a healthy and productive way, which gives you the strength to face challenges head-on without relying on external comfort. The more you embrace solitude, the more you realize that you are capable of navigating life with a steady hand, even in the most turbulent of times. Self-reliance isn't about shutting out the world or rejecting help from others, it's about recognizing that you are your own best resource. It is about trusting your instincts, making decisions based on your values, and standing firm in your choices, even when faced with uncertainty. In solitude, you learn that you are enough, that you can weather any storm without the need for constant validation from others. This independence is empowering. It allows you to move through life with a sense of autonomy and confidence, knowing that you don't need to depend on others to define your worth or make decisions for you. In solitude, you build a deep, unshakable sense of self that becomes the foundation upon which you can build meaningful relationships, pursue your passions, and live a life that is truly aligned with who you are. Solitude offers something incredibly valuable to the individual: the opportunity for creativity to flourish. In a world filled with distractions, constant stimulation, and endless demands on our attention, it can be difficult to tap into our creative potential. Yet, when we allow ourselves to embrace moments of solitude, we create an environment in which creativity can thrive. Far from being a hindrance, solitude acts as a catalyst for innovative thinking, allowing our minds the space to wander, explore, and generate new ideas. When we are alone, there are fewer interruptions, fewer expectations, and less pressure to conform. This gives us the freedom to think outside the box, to break away from conventional thought patterns and explore new possibilities. In solitude, we don't have to worry about being judged or critiqued. We are free to experiment, to make mistakes, and to take risks without the fear of failure holding us back. This environment of freedom and experimentation is the perfect breeding ground for creativity. Creativity often thrives in moments of quiet, where the mind can engage with ideas without the noise of the outside world clouding its focus. In solitude, we can allow our thoughts to percolate, to connect in unexpected ways, and to surface in new forms. The best ideas often come when we are not trying too hard, but rather when our minds are free to wander and explore. It's during these quiet moments of contemplation that we make connections between disparate concepts, uncover hidden patterns, and find innovative solutions to problems. Without the constant pressure to perform or meet deadlines, we give ourselves the freedom to explore ideas without restriction, allowing them to grow and evolve in unexpected directions. Furthermore, solitude allows us to tap into a deeper well of inspiration. When we are alone, we are more likely to connect with the things that truly inspire us, whether that be nature, art, books, or our own internal experiences. We can fully immerse ourselves in activities or thoughts that fuel our creativity without the distractions that typically pull our attention away. Whether it's sketching in a notebook, writing in a journal, or brainstorming ideas in silence, solitude allows us to engage with our passions on a deeper level, providing the time and space needed to give our creative ideas the attention they deserve. In addition, solitude allows us to cultivate a sense of patience and focus, which are essential components of creativity. Often when we are surrounded by distractions or social obligations, our ability to focus becomes fragmented. We may find ourselves jumping from one idea to the next without ever fully diving into any one concept. In contrast, solitude forces us to slow down and engage with our thoughts and ideas more deeply. We are able to work through challenges at our own pace, allowing time for our creative process to unfold naturally, without feeling rushed or pressured. Creativity is often born out of necessity, and solitude provides the conditions in which necessity can arise. When we are alone, we have to rely on our own ideas, talents, and skills to make things happen. This can be both empowering and inspiring. In the absence of external influences, we are forced to dig deeper into our own resources, discovering strengths and capabilities we may not have realized were there. The act of creating in solitude allows us to refine our craft, to experiment with new techniques, and to push the boundaries of our own abilities. In solitude, we can also reflect on past work, assess where we've been, and figure out where we want to go next. Without the distractions of the outside world, we can look at our own creations with a more critical eye, refining and improving them as we go. This kind of focused reflection is key to creative growth, as it allows us to evaluate our progress, learn from our mistakes, and build upon our successes. Thus, solitude does not simply offer a break from the world, it offers a chance to create. It provides the space necessary for ideas to emerge, to develop, and to take shape. In moments of silence and solitude, we reconnect with our creativity, unlocking new insights and possibilities that would have otherwise remained hidden beneath the noise of our everyday lives. Solitude, while often feared for its potential discomfort, has a profound ability to foster personal growth through confronting discomfort. It is easy to avoid being alone because in that quiet, we are forced to face parts of ourselves that we would otherwise prefer to ignore. Yet it is through this very discomfort that we grow the most. When we allow ourselves to be alone, we are given the opportunity to truly face our inner struggles, fears, and insecurities without the distractions of the outside world. The discomfort of solitude, while initially unsettling, becomes the gateway to self-discovery and transformation. The experience of being alone can bring to the surface feelings and thoughts that are typically hidden beneath the surface of our daily interactions. In the presence of others, we are often distracted, either by external stimuli or by the need to present ourselves in a certain way. But when alone, there is no one else to distract us from our internal world. The things we have been avoiding, whether it be unresolved emotional pain, past trauma, or deep-rooted fears, have a way of coming to the forefront. At first, these thoughts and feelings can feel overwhelming, even painful. The silence of solitude seems to amplify the inner chaos, making it difficult to know where to start. However, it is precisely in these moments of discomfort that we begin to understand ourselves on a deeper level. When we are forced to sit with ourselves without the crutch of external validation or distractions, we are given the chance to confront our vulnerabilities head-on. This confrontation is not about avoidance or escapism. It is about acknowledging and accepting what we fear or despise about ourselves. By allowing ourselves to feel the discomfort, we begin to process these emotions rather than repress them. The discomfort of solitude is, in essence, an invitation to explore the parts of ourselves that need healing and attention. This process, though difficult, is essential for growth. When we embrace discomfort and sit with the feelings that arise in solitude, we learn to manage them, to transform them into sources of strength rather than weakness. Facing our inner demons can be a painful experience, but it is in these moments that we develop resilience. Instead of running from our fears or distractions, we learn to sit with them and understand them. The more we practice this, the more comfortable we become with discomfort. And over time, we develop emotional fortitude that allows us to face challenges in the outside world with greater ease. Solitude also forces us to build coping mechanisms that we might otherwise neglect. When there is no one around to offer advice, reassurance, or company, we are compelled to rely on ourselves to manage our emotional states. This process of self-soothing, whether through reflection, journaling, meditation, or simply breathing through the discomfort, is essential for developing emotional intelligence. Solitude teaches us that we do not need to look to others to manage our emotions or make us feel better. Instead, we learn to trust ourselves to navigate the complex terrain of our own feelings. Furthermore, the discomfort of solitude can reveal our true desires, values, and goals. When there are no external influences pushing us in one direction or another, we are able to hear our own voice more clearly. The discomfort forces us to ask hard questions about what we truly want in life, what we are willing to sacrifice, and what we need to change. It is only through confronting the discomfort of solitude that we are able to align our actions with our true selves rather than being swayed by the expectations of others. Through this process, solitude helps us develop not just emotional resilience, but also the courage to change. It teaches us that discomfort is not something to be avoided, but something to be embraced as a natural part of growth. In learning to be alone with ourselves, we cultivate the strength to face any challenges, both internal and external, that come our way. Solitude may be uncomfortable at first, but it is this very discomfort that pushes us to become more resilient, self-aware, and ultimately more capable of navigating the complexities of life. In the noise of the modern world, it's easy to become disconnected from the things that truly matter. We often get caught up in the expectations of others, the pressures of societal norms, and the constant demand for validation from external sources. We measure our worth based on comparisons with others, constantly looking outward for approval and recognition. However, when we spend time alone, we have the rare opportunity to reconnect with ourselves and rediscover our core values. Solitude offers the space to pause, reflect, and realign with what is truly important in life, allowing us to reconnect not only with ourselves, but with the natural world and the deeper sense of purpose that guides us. When we are alone, we are free from the distractions that cloud our judgment and prevent us from understanding our own desires and aspirations. We can take a step back from the noise and busyness of life and focus on what truly matters to us. In solitude, there is no pressure to meet the expectations of others or to live up to external standards. Instead, we can listen to our inner voice and make decisions based on our authentic values. not on what others think we should do or be. This process of self-reconnection is vital for living a fulfilled and meaningful life. Without the constant noise of external influences, we are able to hear our own thoughts clearly and identify what we truly want from life, whether it's a career path, personal relationships, or a deeper sense of purpose. Spending time alone also allows us to reconnect with nature in a way that is often impossible amidst the hustle of daily life. Nature has a unique ability to ground us, to help us find peace and perspective. Whether we are walking in a forest, sitting by the ocean, or simply looking up at the sky, nature offers us a reminder of the vastness of the world and our place within it. The beauty and serenity of nature help us regain clarity and perspective, allowing us to reconnect with the deeper rhythms of life. It reminds us that we are part of something much larger than ourselves, that our individual struggles and challenges are just a small part of a much greater whole. In solitude, we can also take the time to reflect on our personal growth and development. We can think about our past experiences, how they have shaped us, and what lessons we've learned along the way. Solitude offers the space for introspection, allowing us to process our emotions, confront our fears, and understand our motivations. This self-reflection is crucial for growth and personal transformation, as it helps us better understand who we are and where we want to go in life. It is in these quiet moments that we can identify the areas of our lives that need attention or improvement and begin to take the necessary steps toward positive change. Reconnecting with ourselves during moments of solitude also helps us appreciate the simple, everyday aspects of life. We often rush through life, caught up in the pressures of work, relationships, and responsibilities. But in solitude, we are able to slow down and savor the present moment. Whether it's enjoying a cup of coffee in the morning, watching a sunset, or simply breathing in the fresh air, solitude allows us to reconnect with the present moment and appreciate life's simple pleasures. These moments of mindfulness help us stay grounded and remind us of the beauty that exists all around us, even in the midst of life's challenges. As we reconnect with ourselves, we also find the strength to live more authentically. When we are constantly seeking approval or validation from others, we often lose sight of who we truly are and what we truly want. Solitude helps us break free from these external pressures and rediscover our true selves. It allows us to align our actions with our values and pursue a life that is true to who we are, rather than who we think we should be. This alignment between our inner values and outer actions is essential for living a fulfilling and meaningful life. By embracing solitude and taking the time to reconnect with ourselves, we are able to approach the world with a clearer sense of purpose and direction. We are no longer swayed by the opinions of others or driven by external expectations. Instead, we move forward with a deeper understanding of our own desires, strengths, and limitations. Solitude, in this sense, is not a withdrawal from the world, but a return to ourselves, a way to realign with our core values and live in greater harmony with the world around us. When you enjoy being alone, you develop a profound sense of freedom that is often overlooked in a world that places high value on social connection and group dynamics. There is an intrinsic power in being able to spend time with yourself, to be content and fulfilled without needing the presence or approval of others. This kind of independence does not stem from a desire to isolate or detach from the world, but rather from a deeper understanding that your sense of self and your happiness are not dependent on external sources. When you enjoy solitude, you realize that you are capable of finding fulfillment within yourself, and this realization is liberating. At its core, this freedom comes from the ability to disconnect from the constant need for validation. In many aspects of life, we are conditioned to seek approval from others. Whether it's through social media, professional achievements, or personal relationships, there is often an underlying expectation to be liked, admired, or accepted. However, when you are comfortable being alone, you stop seeking this constant validation from others. You begin to derive your sense of worth from within. This shift in perspective allows you to act in alignment with your own values and desires, without worrying about how others might perceive you. This newfound freedom also provides the space for self-discovery. In solitude, you are free to explore your interests, passions, and ideas without the influence of other people's preferences or opinions. You have the freedom to pursue hobbies, read, write, or engage in creative activities that bring you joy without feeling the need to justify or explain yourself to anyone. This kind of freedom allows for the discovery of new aspects of yourself that may have been buried or overshadowed by the expectations of others. You might find that you enjoy activities or experiences you had never considered before, or that you have untapped talents and strengths that only surface in the quiet of solitude. Moreover, enjoying time alone encourages a deeper connection to your own thoughts and emotions. Without the distractions of external voices, you can listen to your inner voice with clarity. You become more attuned to your own needs, desires, and boundaries. This heightened self-awareness not only enhances your emotional intelligence, but also strengthens your decision-making capabilities. You start to recognize what truly matters to you, what brings you peace, and what drains your energy. In this sense, being alone gives you the space to cultivate a more authentic life, one that is based on your own choices rather than the expectations or demands of others. The ability to enjoy solitude also teaches you how to manage your own emotional world. In the absence of social interaction, you are faced with your own thoughts, feelings, and reactions. You learn how to cope with loneliness, stress, and uncertainty without relying on the presence or reassurance of others. This emotional independence makes you more resilient as you become less dependent on outside sources of comfort or validation. You realize that you have the capacity to soothe yourself, to navigate your emotional landscape with grace, and to find peace even in moments of discomfort. This emotional autonomy is a crucial skill that empowers you to handle the ups and downs of life with confidence. Another profound aspect of enjoying solitude is the sense of autonomy it provides. You no longer feel beholden to others' schedules, opinions, or desires. Instead, you make decisions based on your own needs and preferences. You choose how to spend your time, what to focus on, and how to prioritize your well-being. This level of autonomy allows you to live life on your own terms, without the pressure to conform or adhere to societal norms. You become the architect of your own existence, creating a life that aligns with your true self rather than a life shaped by the expectations of others. The more you enjoy being alone, the more you come to understand that this freedom is not about escaping from the world, but about reclaiming your power. It is about stepping into a space where you are free to be yourself, to explore, to grow, and to become the person you are meant to be. This freedom allows you to approach the world with a sense of clarity and confidence, knowing that you are whole and capable on your own. Ultimately, the freedom that comes from enjoying solitude is not about isolation, but about creating a life that is uniquely your own, one that is grounded in self-awareness, emotional independence, and the courage to be unapologetically yourself. In conclusion, the experience of enjoying solitude is not a withdrawal from life, but rather an invitation to engage more deeply with it. It offers us the opportunity to reconnect with ourselves, to reflect on our values, and to gain the clarity needed to navigate the complexities of our lives. Through solitude, we are given the rare gift of introspection, allowing us to confront our discomforts, face our fears, and grow in ways we could never have imagined amidst the noise of the outside world. It nurtures creativity, fosters emotional resilience, and cultivates self-reliance, all of which empower us to live more authentically and with greater purpose. By embracing solitude, we learn not only to be comfortable in our own company, but to thrive in it. We gain the strength to navigate life's challenges with confidence, to make decisions based on our true desires, and to approach the world with a clear sense of direction. It teaches us that we don't need constant validation or external validation to define our worth. Instead, we learn to trust ourselves, develop inner peace, and draw inspiration from the depths of our own minds and hearts. In solitude, we find the space for growth, reflection, and transformation, ultimately becoming more connected to who we are and what we want from life. When we enjoy being alone, we rediscover the power of stillness and the immense potential it holds for personal development and fulfillment.